G'day everyone. Today I want to talk about something that a lot of beginner coaches neglect that's extremely important. So let's get into it. Coach Craig Rowe here from the OzSwoosh YouTube channel and OzSwoosh Academy. And today I want to talk about something that a lot of coaches neglect. As always, at the end of the video, I will share with you a free drill that you can use with your athletes to focus on what I'm about to talk about. Now, what is it that a lot of coaches actually neglect? I look at club coaches at the grassroots level, and there's one thing that I recognize that a lot of coaches actually neglect. What is it? It's footwork fundamentals. Probably for me, the most important thing that I think coaches should be teaching athletes at a very young age is footwork fundamentals. So what do I mean by footwork fundamentals? Basically, footwork fundamentals are the ability of an athlete to run, change pace, change direction, to start and stop in the two methods we use in basketball, which is a jump stop, which is a 1-2 stop, like a 1-step 2-foot stop in hopscotch, or a stride stop, which is a 1-2 stop, which is 1 foot hits the floor before the other. They're the two most common ways we stop in basketball. Also pivots, so forward and reverse pivoting, which are extremely important. So foot dexterity is equally as important as hand dexterity. I see a lot of coaches teaching ball handling, but they're not always teaching footwork. Also foot fakes. So at OzSwoosh, I've shared a video where we do open court foot fakes. These are the foundational fakes we use when we add a basketball to try and beat someone on a blow-by downhill in a fast break situation. There's also jab or drive fakes. So these fakes are from a standing start, often from a jump stop or a stride stop, where we fake with our foot and then explode from a lunge type position. So that footwork's extremely important. And then at the higher level, we have like drop and load moves. So that's where both feet would drop at the same time, almost in a jump stop, to explode on a drive or a dribble. So we get a lot of power from that. But there's an evolution of footwork that gets to that point, and then we build on it to add counter moves and more aggressive offensive moves. So footwork fundamentals cannot be underestimated. So why are they so important? Because one simple thing: where your feet go is where you go. So therefore, you have to have really good footwork. If you look at some of the best players in the professional leagues, you'll recognize that the best guards and the best forwards have really, really good footwork. So if you're a coach who's neglecting to teach footwork to your athletes, I would strongly encourage you to incorporate those into your training sessions. And often you can do it as a warm-up. And what you do is you basically divide a small amount of time of your training session and devote that to footwork fundamentals. Normally you can do it as a warm-up, as part of a dynamic warm-up. So at OzSwoosh, we do a lot of lunges and lunge clocks and pivoting to help us warm up. You can do sumos and things of that nature as well. So look for a good dynamic warm-up, because that can also help with footwork. The other thing that I recognize at a particularly young age is when you're doing that footwork, you can see that some people struggle to get the signal from their brain to their feet in the direction they need to go, particularly with pivoting. Kids at a young age struggle to send signals to their feet to forward pivot and reverse pivot. So very simple drills that involve giving instructions like forward pivot right foot, forward pivot left foot, and barking those instructions at your athletes to pivot on those particular feet will help them develop and reduce their mental gap in actually sending the signal from their brain to their body to work out where they can move their feet. So it sounds really simple, and it's one of the most basic things you can teach your athletes is footwork fundamentals. But sadly, from my perspective of what I've seen on court, is a lot of junior and grassroots coaches are failing to focus on body movement or footwork fundamentals. Now, the other thing that's really extremely important to understand, and why developing footwork fundamentals is so important, is because the kinetic chain is something that we need to train and develop so that we can reduce the risk of injury. So The kinetic chain is that our feet are linked to our knees, are linked to our hips. So basically the foot is a shock absorber. And if it fails to absorb the pressure that's applied when you land or you explode or you stop, then what happens is another joint in the kinetic chain will actually absorb some of that energy. And that's what often results in injury, particularly if there's not a great deal of flexibility or stability in those regions. So it's really important that you are teaching your athletes footwork fundamentals. Now, I said I'd offer you a bonus drill that will help with footwork fundamentals. So on my website, I have an image of a drill that works on starting, stopping, pivoting, and diagonal change of pace, change of direction, running, and defensive slide footwork, which are all important footworks to help you develop all the movements and motions to get the flexibility in your joints. So it's a good warm up. That's another episode of The Coach Approach. I love that you're coming back each week. Don't forget, if you want to share anything in the comments, I encourage you to do so. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do. If you want to connect with me, you can do so via emails or through the socials linked to the YouTube channel. And I hope you join us again next week, and we look forward to catching you in the next one. Thanks for checking out this episode of The Coach Approach. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take time to leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet subscribed, and also feel free to share your own experience in the comments below. We hope to see you again in the next one.